You're my brother. Not gonna get away. Not this
The Seven Boys versus the X-Men. Who would actually survive? If you thought the Seven were unstoppable, think again, because when you throw them into the same ring as the X-Men, a team of war-forged, ideologically united, evolution-powered mutants, you get a battle that's not just explosive. It's one-sided in a way that Homelander's ego couldn't even comprehend. Let's get right into it. On paper, the Seven look like a terrifying force. You've got Homelander, the Superman clone with a god complex. Queen Maeve, a Wonder Woman archetype with serious brawn. A-Train, the speedster. Translucent, the invisible stalker. The Deep, who talks to sea creatures. And Black Noir, the silent killer. But strip away the PR campaigns and Vought-funded propaganda, and you're left with a dysfunctional team of unstable narcissists, barely united, often at odds, and emotionally unhinged. Now send them headfirst into the X-Mansion. That's where the real pain begins. Homelander might be the crown jewel of Vought, but his power isn't limitless. Yes, he can fly. Yes, he has heat vision and near impenetrable skin. But remember, Wolverine is a mutant who's literally unkillable. His healing factor lets him regenerate from gunshots, explosions, and even being reduced to a skeleton. So Homelander lasers his chest? Fine. Wolverine takes it. He heals. And then he gets back up with those adamantium claws and goes for the jugular. You don't outlast Wolverine, you run from him. And if Homelander thinks he can just swoop in and take out the X-Men, he's never met Jean Grey, especially in her Phoenix form. We're talking about a cosmic-level telepath who can disintegrate a man before he even hears her footsteps. She can freeze time from his perspective, lock him inside his own mind, and dismantle him molecule by molecule. Homelander's not just outmatched, he's outclassed. This isn't a laser fight. It's a mind war, and Jean owns that battlefield. Let's not forget Mystique, the shape-shifting blue-skinned mutant who's not only a master infiltrator, but also a psychological weapon. She could appear as Stillwell, Homelander's greatest weakness, or as Queen Maeve to manipulate the Seven into attacking one another. The Seven are already paranoid. Imagine what happens when they can't trust who's standing beside them. That's game over before the first punch is thrown. A-Train versus Quicksilver? It's over before A-Train finishes blinking. Quicksilver doesn't just move fast, he moves so fast that time nearly stands still for him. We've seen him save dozens of people from an exploding building in seconds, cracking jokes while sipping soda. A-Train, with his heart condition and overconfidence, would be humiliated, outpaced, and face-planted before he even realizes he's in a fight. Black Noir might be silent and deadly, but not deadly enough.
Oi.
Nightcrawler could teleport circles around him, and Wolverine could smell him out from half a mile away. The moment Noir gets close, he's met with adamantium claws or telekinetic blasts. Stealth only works if you can surprise your enemy, and the X-Men are trained specifically to deal with threats like him. Now let's talk about Queen Maeve. She's strong, she's a skilled combatant, but she's no match for someone like Storm, who can summon lightning, tornadoes, and blizzards at will. Storm doesn't need to punch you. She drowns you in a hurricane. Maeve, strong as she is, would be tossed like a rag doll in an F5 tornado. And the Deep, against aquatic titans like Namor, if you include him in extended X-Men lore, or even just against mutants who don't need the ocean to be lethal, he's worse than useless. His only real power becomes irrelevant the moment the battle isn't underwater. Meanwhile, Translucent, with his invisible skin, might hope to sneak around, but against Professor X, his thoughts are an open book. Against Jean Grey, he could be frozen mid-step, his nervous system shut off with a glance. You can't hide from someone who can hear your soul screaming. What truly separates these two teams isn't just power, it's purpose. The Seven are a chaotic mess of egos, fame, and unchecked power. They fight for cameras and clout. The X-Men, they've been hated, hunted, and pushed to extinction, but they never stopped fighting for each other and for peace. That unity is what makes them lethal. Cyclops, Beast, Colossus, Iceman, Rogue, they're not just warriors, they're a team. One perfectly choreographed strike team that knows how to adapt to any opponent. Even Butcher and Huey, enhanced by temporary compound Vive, wouldn't stand a chance. They're brutal, sure, but against decades of mutant training, strategy, and raw ability, they're cannon fodder. Colossus alone could punch Butcher into the next zip code. And let's not forget that Professor X alone could end the entire conflict in seconds. One psychic blast and the Seven are on their knees, crying in their own minds. That's not theory. That's canon mutant ability. So, could the Seven defeat the X-Men? Not a chance. Because when the Seven rely on fear, ego, and media power, the X-Men rely on unity, experience, and a mission worth dying for. One side is a corporation's creation. The other is evolution's answer to oppression. If you enjoyed this brutal takedown and you want more high-stakes, no-fluff versus battles, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, comment who you think wins the next round. You bring the fandom, we bring the facts. This is movie analytics. This is matchup science. This is where heroes fall.